Morning, James.
I think the first question to ask is how you are this week.
Very good, thank you. Very good for a considerable amount of time, I'd say. So, yeah, it's good.
The owner came out at the awards on Tuesday and sort of gave you a back and certainly said some encouraging words. Did that help that maybe the void of kind of silence had been finally filled?
Well, from my point of view, I think that one would hope so, but I think that also the efforts of the team and the turnaround of results over the period of time that I've been here speaks for itself. You know, I think that asking the players to commit has been as one that they've taken up really from day one, and I think we've improved the level of the team consistently now from the beginning. I think there was a middle period in January, February where we dipped down, but we've come back strong again. We've faced all the obstacles we've faced and come through those with injuries. And players, I think, are giving everything they've got at the moment, and I think that's why the results are where they are at this minute in time, and where our position in the league tells us we've done that.
Are you enjoying the job you're doing?
I always enjoy the job. It ain't a job anyway. So I think that I wouldn't come back into football if I didn't enjoy this job. Pressures and all, it's all a part of what I missed when I wasn't in a manager's job, and I like the pressure. I like the feeling of the challenge week in and week out, and I think that you always meet the challenge head on and move forward with your own philosophy and get everybody behind you moving the right way, and I think that's been the case. I think that all the first team squad, all the staff that inherited, the new staff that came in, have all pushed in the right direction, and we've got ourselves in a very favourable position in the league now, and we want to try and finish the next two games and be undefeated when the end of the season comes. And I think that when we finish the season, obviously there's reflection and moving forward.
From the outside looking in, I mean, pressure's one thing, unfair pressure is something else. Is that something you just have to take on?
Well, it's a volatile world outside today in the Premier League. I think that it increases as the money increases and as the size of the players' transfer fees and wages that are talked about increases. Then the pressure increases, and then there's criticism that you have to accept and move on with. Like, I mean, whether the criticism is fair or not is something you can't let affect you. You've got to stay internally within the bounds of what you believe in and what you want to try and achieve and what you want to try and do, and focus on that and try and make everybody happy. I mean, it's an entertainment game. You're trying to capture hearts and minds, and certainly, I think, particularly from a home point of view, that we've achieved that with not just the results, but the way we've played and the way we beat teams. Like, you know, so we've obviously got room for improvement. We always try and improve, and I think that hopefully that will be a big performance again tomorrow, 5:30, and another win.
Is that dressing room a million miles apart from the dressing room that you've kind of inherited in terms of belief and what the players can do and the potential they may be showing now?
I think it's always similar on the basis there's a lack of confidence when you first arrive because you're here because things are not going well, which I don't think anybody expected at the start of the season, and you get the position of trying to turn that round. And you use your abilities and experience with the rest of the staff at the club to pull the players through that bit of lack of confidence that they have and try and build that confidence again. And you do that by finding out how best the team can play with the squad that's available to you.
How much would you like a pre-season with this group of players?
Very much so. I think that as ever, you know, pre-season when everybody goes away, I mean the difficulties of World Cup, of course, but pre-season in terms of what we're going to do when we start back is all in place. Like, you mean, what happens at the end of the season for recruitment of players or players out is another matter. That's pure speculation at the moment, because you can only react on what happens on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. Like, you mean, so you can say this or say that, but realistically you have to wait to see what's available, and then you have to wait to see if anybody comes for your players that they may want, and whether everything falls into line from the negotiations, then you decide as a board and as a football club altogether which is the right thing to do for the football club.
And the fans would like to be top 6, even perhaps top 4. Are you confident with this set of players and maybe the additions you'd make, that they could fulfil those dreams?
Well, I think where we are, 7th last year, 8th at the moment. We want to try and maintain that position, that 8th in the league. But I think that all depends on the recruitment in the summer. You know, what the quality of player might be, and where is he, and does he want to come to Everton? Can we get him through the door to make us better?
Are those plans in place? I mean, you're not going to name names, but
plans are in place, of course, but plans are or names on list, yes, but you know, are they achievable is another matter. When you're in a volatile market in such a short period of time this summer, our window shutting before everybody else's and the World Cup in between makes life extremely difficult. It's difficult as it is on a season in, season out basis, but even more difficult in a World Cup year.
I wonder if Southampton are a lesson in perhaps patience and stability, and if they had their time again, they might have stuck with a manager rather than change twice and be looking at perhaps Championship football next season.
It's not for me to comment on what the clubs do. I just worry about Everton and moving forward.
How important is it to get a win tomorrow in your last home game?
It's very important to win every game. I think one thing you've got to, certainly I give the lads a lot of credit for, is not switching off. You know, achieving performances and results, and when that relief of, like, you know, there is no threat against relegation anymore, which was done weeks and weeks ago. I give them credit for that first, and then to push on from there and continue to win matches is always important, because you know, we've seen teams that have dipped off before and we haven't, and I hope that's the case in the next 2 games.
Injury-wise, housekeeping, anything?
Just a norm. We've got Mason Holgate back training, but everybody else that's been out is still out because on the long-term prospects in terms of recovery.
I think your community team are going to get the freedom of the city tomorrow night. I think you've been involved in lots of clubs, so community important. Is this another step up in terms of the relation between the club and the people around it?
Well, I think I've said many times, I think that being out in Everton in the community has massively impressed me in the period of time that I've been here, and being out and about and seeing what areas and where they make an impact and what they do is absolutely fantastic. I think, like I said, I've had many Premier League clubs, but I've never seen anybody, you know, anything as good as Everton in the community. So they deserve everything they get.
Just forgetting your Everton manager for a moment, and a football manager who's managed more than 9 clubs. Stevie G is taking a step, we think, into management with Glasgow Rangers. Your thoughts as perhaps a fellow manager now?
It's a big step, and good luck to sleepless nights, Steve.
Lots to come.
Well, it's a big club, like I said, and his first time as a manager, so he'll find out when he's sat behind the desk how difficult it can be.
Thank you.
Is Holgate potentially in contention?
No, he's back in training, but because he hasn't played any games and only in training, it would be next week and the full week's training next week before he may get a chance or an opportunity to be involved in the squad at West Ham away.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, Calvert-Lewin's out. He's unfortunately got a small stress fracture in the bottom of his back, sadly.
Sam, you spoke earlier in the press conference about winning hearts and minds, that small section of support that showed discontent against Huddersfield. What kind of thing is it going to take to win those hearts and minds, given that you've been on such a good run of form?
Keep winning and playing better, and you know, small minorities get a lot of voice in our game.
Just on Southampton, how surprised are you to see them where they are?
I'm surprised to see all 3 in the bottom 3. I'm very surprised that they're there. I think we're all surprised, whether you're a manager, or if you follow the Premier League, that you at the start of the season you wouldn't have expected all those 3 to be in that position. But it can happen for many reasons, of course. Obviously, Southampton had a new manager, and that obviously didn't work, so they decided to change. I think that nobody, again, with Tony at West Brom, there was a change of manager, and that didn't unfortunately get any better for Alan. And you know, Stoke, it's the same with Paul Lambert. The club makes a decision because of the fallout of the Premier League and the money now, and how desperate it becomes to try and stay in the division. So this is why we've seen a record number of managers leave their post this season, which is, you know, considerably worrying for managers in the game, and considerably worrying for the LMA in terms of how many managers seem to be changed at the moment. But it's all about, you know, a team's perception and reality in terms of delivering the reality into where you should or shouldn't be in the league, making sure you get there and try and get beyond it if you can. But nobody expected those three clubs, I think, to be in this position with the last two games of the season coming up, and that's why I think we have such a difficult game tomorrow, because of the victory they had last week against Bournemouth. It's given them a real lifeline, and we're facing a team that's going to be fighting tooth and nail to try and get a result against us, and we've got to try and stop that. And